What's up, everybody? My name is Baina. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be discussing the mental symptoms of a spiritual awakening. I know I did talk a little bit about mental symptoms during my spiritual awakening, but I never really got deep into it. I can talk about my spiritual awakening mental symptoms a little more deeper, but this is probably just going to be the first video I talk about where the mental stages of a spiritual awakening, like before you get your spiritual awakening happens. This is not a video to condone or talk about, leaving someone's religion or anything like that. Like I always say in the beginning of my videos, this is just my experience and what I've experienced. It has nothing to do with you guys' experience. You guys are going to experience things totally different or maybe similar. Everybody's spiritual path and journeys kind of affects them differently depending on where they at spiritually. So it doesn't really matter too much verbatim about what I'm going to say. Some things are obviously going to trigger you, or say if I say something that's going to trigger you, obviously, but other things are going to be just, basically the symptoms that I've been through and some of the symptoms that I've witnessed other people go through as well. So just a quick recap. Today's video is going to be about mental symptoms of a spiritual awakening and kind of like what happens. It might not be the same order, of everybody else's symptoms and what they've been through, but these are just some of the symptoms. So I am going to talk about more of my spiritual journey. And these first few videos, I just started this YouTube channel, so some of the videos are not going to be like, like in a sequence. They're just going to be some random ones here and there. I also have some other videos I have to upload too. That's not about really too much about spirituality, but it does like bring a spiritual sense to it. Anyway, let's just jump right into the mental symptoms of a spiritual awakening. So the first one usually is you feel lost or disconnected from something or just everything. That's usually the first symptom that happens that starts the spiritual awakening. Usually you're like, I don't really want to do this job. I don't really want to do this. You're kind of losing interest and you're feeling disconnected with everything, right? That's usually the first thing. This can be, like I said, in the sign of, it could be family engagements, or you used to drink and you don't want to drink anymore, or you used to smoke and you just don't have the urge and the energy. This starts to be like your first inclinations to having a spiritual awakening before the spiritual aspect happens. You don't really feel connected. You just want to like isolate, basically disconnect yourself. You don't know what it is, but you just don't want to be involved in something. It could be anything. Like I said, this is not verbatim exactly pinpointing, this is just one of the symptoms that happen when you're about to embark on a spiritual journey, okay? Your spiritual awakening. So definitely feeling disconnected and feeling lost is one of the symptoms. People might ask you what's wrong with you and think you're going crazy, or ask you questions like, how come you don't want to hang out with us anymore? How come you don't want to do this and do that? And I know in religion it does make it seem like that as well, because when you conform or convert to a religion, you are not supposed to hang out with the same people that you've hung out with that are not in the same religion as you. So that can be something that you can see in religion as well, where you're like, hey, how come you're not hanging out with us anymore? And they're just like, I don't want to hang out with you because, religious reasons, or blah, 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 blah. But when you're not in a religion, it naturally happens where you just don't want to connect with the people that you connected to, and you don't even know why. You just feel like you don't want to be around those same people anymore. You kind of just want to be like, isolate to yourself. Okay, so that's the first symptom. And like I said, this could be the third symptom that you experience if you're observing yourself. This could be like the third symptom that you get. This could be the fourth. It doesn't have to be the first thing, but it is kind of initially the first thing that happens when someone is going through a spiritual awakening. All right, that's number one. Number two is you just want something new in your life. You kind of just want to have a change. You're not really sure what kind of change you want. You just don't want to do what you've been doing. You kind of want to just elevate and do something else. Like, you're not really interested in, like I said, it could be something that you used to be interested in, like drinking. It could be something like, if it's not a habit, this is what I'm saying. Like, if it's not a habit thing, like, hey, you need to get better if you're like, an alcoholic. It's not like that. It's like, certain things that you do kind of on occasions, but also like on times where you just want to do it. Those kind of things will kind of just you just don't want to do it anymore for some random reason. You just get in your gut that you just don't want to do it. So you start wanting to do more better things. Like you start wanting change. Like you're like, I need a different job. I need to see different people. I need to go live somewhere different. I need to be somewhere else. Like, you start trying to, you start, excuse me. Because I love this topic so much. Like I love it so much, I get excited. Anyways, because I've experienced it. So you just want to like gravitate to other places. You don't want to be around, like I said, kind of in the first symptom, certain people, certain places. And you don't even know that you're doing this. This is just something that happens to you, like because you're going through this, And I'll also explain in my other third chapter about spiritual awakening symptoms when it comes to the spirit and why this is in this video. Anyway, so yeah, you kind of just want something different. You want to move on to do something different. And it could even be you going back to doing old things that you used to do, like things that you forgot that you learned how to do and things that actually brought you joy at one point in time. Those are the kind of the symptoms that you want. And it is something that it is something new technically, because when you leave something that you used to do, you stop doing it. And then when you go back, it kind of brings up that new emotion to it. So yeah, that is also a symptom of, one of the breakdowns of a spiritual awakening, what first happens, what kind of happens during that time. Your next symptom is having doubts. This goes with everything. This especially happens with relationships. You could doubt that someone, that you kind of get this feeling like something's not right. You're kind of doubting everything that you've believed in, everything that, that made you feel like a whole person at one point. This could be, like I said, at any point in time in your spiritual awakening, but this is just the symptoms embarking you on that journey. It could be anything, but you start to just doubt it. It could be your religion. It could be your relationship with your parents. It could just, and I don't mean doubting like this isn't real. I mean doubting like what is, like questioning, like what is my actual, which I'm going to say in this is the next symptom, but what is my purpose? It kind of relates to that. Like you're doubting like your previous beliefs, like what your previous beliefs were. Like say you were heavy into politics, right? And then you kind of just, something happens where you're like, let me look into this a little bit more. And then you start to have those doubts, okay? And you're questioning things a lot more. That is another mental symptom of a spiritual awakening and what happens during the embarkment of a spiritual awakening. That you don't really trust anything, you just don't want to fully believe something anymore. You kind of just like, let me take my time with this. Let me actually revalue my beliefs, You kind of just go into this thing where you're like, I just want to make sure that what I'm doing is actually what I'm doing. Not to doubt something because you lack faith, but to doubt something as far as wanting to know more and not totally believing everything that you were taught. It could be, like I said, politics. It could be your religion. It could be your relationships with your parents. It could be relationship with your boyfriend, girlfriend. It could be relationships with your siblings. It could be relationships in general, It could be doubting relationships, doubting ideas, doubting beliefs. You kind of just go through this whirlwind of like, what the fuck is going on? Excuse my French, but like, I don't really understand, and I just want to like a new perspective. Like I just want to really like go in deep and see what's actually happening in my life. It's that. Okay, so the third symptom was doubting. The fourth symptom, excuse me. I have it written here because I forget a lot. And even though I know I've been on this journey and I've been through all these symptoms, it's better for me to write it down so that I separate the physical symptoms from the mental ones and the spiritual ones. Because yes, there are three aspects. It's kind of light on this paper. Yeah, number 4. It kind of ties into, like I said in the beginning, lack of interest, but I'm going to go a little deeper with this symptom because I just briefly skimmed over it. Having lack of interest when you're going through a spiritual awakening or embarking on the journey before actually being on it consciously, you do not enjoy the things you used to enjoy. This can look like depression as well. Okay? I talked about the dark night of the soul, where you get into this deep depression. This kind of ties into that, but this is a symptom that can look like depression, where you don't want to do anything you used to do anymore, right? And I know it kind of sounds contradictory, but like I said, these are symptoms that happen like on the rapid basis. Like you're gonna go through these symptoms for however long you need to go through them until you're ready to move on to the next stage. All right, and you could be stuck on one symptom for many years and still have not learned the lesson that you need to learn for your soul to ignite. So like I said, these are not like sequence symptoms. These are just symptoms that happen, and I'm just, gonna keep clarifying that. This thing keeps falling off. Like I don't know why that thing just keeps falling off for some reason. Anyways, yeah, lack of interest in things. Like you want to pull away from everything, you don't want to do things that you used to do, that you're previously doing. You're losing interest in friends, you're losing interest in family, you're pulling away so much that your relationships are starting to seem like you just don't want to be involved. And the people in those close relationships you had, this can be your close friends too, by the way, your best friends too. You just don't want to be around anybody. Like lack of interest, And it starts with relationships. You start to hear the same people talking the same thing. You're like, I don't really want to hear that anymore. Like, I just don't want to hear it anymore. Like, they could be talking about the news. They could be talking about music videos. They could be talking about who's the next, It could be sports. It could be anything of this worldly life that people mundanely do and talk about. You just don't want to hear it anymore. I know for me, it was always work. I didn't want to hear or have anyone ask me how my day was because it was like the same thing every fucking day. I went into work. I did what I had to do. I met dumbass people, excuse my French and shit, but I met people who I didn't like, and I had managers who were assholes, and the beat goes on. Why do you want to know so bad about my day? Like, it's boring as fuck. There's nothing I need else to talk about because it's just boring. Like, what else do you want from me? That was one of my symptoms about that. Another symptom of mine was still related to the same thing, but here's an example. I didn't want to talk to my siblings that much about anything. I just wanted to stay by myself. I didn't want to talk to them about the dogs. I didn't want to talk to them about who I liked. I didn't want to talk to them about, family drama. I just didn't want to engage myself at all with chitter chatter. Like I just didn't. I wanted to know what the fuck I'm on earth for, right? So this is kind of like the urge that your soul gets when you're going through this, you kind of just lack interest in the regular mundane world. You just don't want to be involved with the world anymore. Like it doesn't matter what it could be the simplest thing, going shopping. It could be, mine was a little extreme. Okay. Mine was a little extreme, but everybody's symptoms are going to play out on different levels. Mine, I can tell you, was very extreme. And to this day, I kind of still suffer a little bit of those symptoms too. Like the residue of them, because you're gonna have these symptoms. Like I said, they come and go, and depending on where you are, if your spirit feels like you haven't learned enough in this area, you're gonna be faced with the same problems. Okay, just to let you know. Anyways, so yeah, lack of interest. Like I said, it could be anything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be anything. It could be sex. It could be anything. I'm telling you, it could be anything. All right, I'll say it one more time. Anything. All right. The fourth feeling, or did I say that was the fourth feeling? The fifth feeling, excuse me, is feeling just burnt out, like over it. Like you don't want to do anything, like an isolation. That's what I really wanted to say. You're isolated. But it comes from being burnt out from doing the same thing over and over again, right? It's like one of those feelings where like you feel so numb to things. Like you don't want to do anything. You don't want to be around anyone, like at all. And a lot of these symptoms, like I said, they sound like the same thing, but it's all driven by the same motivation of you just want to be alone. You don't want to be around a lot of people. You don't want to go to clubs. You don't want to go out drinking. You don't want to go shop. Like you don't want to be around anybody. I mean, like anybody. Okay? I don't know why my tongue wants to roll every single time I'm making a video or just talking in general. My tongue just wants to roll like it wants to speak Spanish. I don't speak anything but English, so this tongue gonna have to do something. Anyway, pause. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, you just don't want to like face anybody or do anything. You kind of just want to, float into this abyss of nothingness and just be nothing. Yeah, that's how serious it gets. Like you don't want to be involved with anything. You don't want to be involved with your friends. You don't want to be involved with your family. You kind of just want to drift away slowly, and this is, like I said, these are the mental symptoms. So it can look like depression, and it actually can cause depression and stress. It really can. The spiritual stuff really does cause like depression. It does. Okay. And when I kind of like got the idea of what I was going through, things got a lot better for me. And this is why I like to make these videos and make sure like what I'm saying gets out, because I know that there's going to be a lot of people like me, or that were in my situation, that are in my situation now, that think that they're going fucking crazy, and they probably on the verge of suicide or anything like that, and they're like looking for answers. So yeah, like I said, these symptoms can make you look like you are going through depression, and in reality you are going through a depression, because your soul is trying to make you aware that it exists. Doesn't want you to be an autopilot anymore. See, my tongue, autopilot, okay? It doesn't want you to be on autopilot anymore. It wants you to actually use it, right? It's like having a gift that you know you have, and you knew you had it when you were born, but you suppressed it so much that now it's like, I need to come out. I need to have, it's like a Superman, you know? It's like Superman or any other type of hero, you know? Something does happen with them in their life that they get like a mental, like, you know, elevation, but then what it is, what their superpowers are actually their spiritual gifts. People just think, oh my God, this movie's so cool and blah, blah, but it's symbolic, okay? Every superhero has something happen to them in their life, triggered, right? Their mental. It may have affected their spirit, their physical as well. But it was always something mentally that was going on first before it came into where they got their superpowers, or something happened to them. You know, you have Spider-Man who got bit by a spider, but you know what? In that movie, he was actually going through his own little mental thing before he even got bit. So that's how it starts. It starts in the mind, right? It starts mentally in your mind, because the creator is in the seat of your mind. You know, the creator, the energy, the great spirit, God, whatever you want to call it, is in your mind. Okay? And you are part of it. So if you're constantly being distracted by people, music, everything that you enjoy, your soul is going to make those things unpleasant for you at a time. So that way you can be like, man, what's going on with me? I used to like this. I used to like that. And your soul's like, you don't like it anymore. It's really funny, honestly. Like when you observe your spiritual awakening after you've come through so far, after you've gone through so much of what, you know, your spiritual symptoms were and all that stuff, once you're able to like look at yourself as your soul, you kind of look at your body as a third person thing. Like you're like, dang, or like a second person thing. Like, I really went through all that. So your spirit makes everything that you like physically uncomfortable. And this is for people who are actually supposed to be awake in this world, in this life. There's some people who are not meant to be woke in this life. And I don't mean woke like this stupid, god awful trends of these sleepy people. Okay, I'm gonna be nice and say sleepy people because I really want to say more, but we're not gonna do that on this channel. Anyways, okay, being awake means to be aware. It means to be aware, not mentally, not just mentally, not physically, but spiritually. That's what it means to be quote unquote woke, okay? So if you see people out here, I'm going to do another topic about this as well, but just briefly going to say, if you see people out here talking about some woke and they're on some other kind of stuff, they're just trying to get clout. It's not real spirituality. It's bullshit, okay? Okay. But yeah, so your spirit will make everything uncomfortable for you. You will go through all these mental things. You'll question yourself. You'll doubt. You'll lack interest. All these symptoms combined will make you come off to people, as I said before, like you're depressed or you're going through something like a mental breakdown. When people say mental breakdown, that's kind of what it is. But at the source of all of that is your spirit knocking on the door like, hey, let me in. Let me in. You need me. You need me. And the more you avoid your spirit, the stronger the symptoms are going to be. So it's best that you look up what you're going through, pay attention to how you are, literally like pay attention to yourself, and just accept the way you feel. The best thing that you can do when you're going through this is to don't do anything. Just observe yourself. Continue to go to work. Have patience. continue to go to work. Try to set some healthy boundaries with people. If you don't want to have conversations, don't have them. If you want to cry, then cry. If you want to be angry, then be angry. Don't hit anybody, you know? You need to let these emotions out so that your spirit can cleanse itself. Like, you know, your soul can be clean. It's not like you're dirty or anything, but you have a lot of sludge. You know, there's a lot of things that you brought with you into this life, and your parents, and a lot of demands from people that they have on you. So social norms, all this kind of status, you know, your standards, all this average stuff. There's a lot of things that you're gonna think about and you're gonna feel heavily. So it's best that you don't do anything at all. Go to work, go home, and go to sleep. Take a nap, write, do journaling, do something to make your spirit feel better. Because or just to make yourself feel like you're in the emotion. You have to be in the emotion. So that's gonna end this video today, because I'm gonna go into the emotional stuff in my next video, and I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. It was kind of short to me. I know it's like a 20-minute video already, but it was kind of short to me because there's so much to say. And following up with this next video is going to be about the emotional symptoms of a spiritual awakening, and that video is probably going to be a little bit longer. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and have a wonderful day. Sending you peace, love, light, and a little bit of like negativity. No, I'm kidding. You know what's crazy? Because, and then I'm going to end the video because this is probably going to go into another subject because I have so much to talk about. You know, when you go online and you look up spiritual things, and you got these people on here that's like, oh, everything's all peace, love, and light, and all this. Like, I say that because this is what I want to happen. Like, I want it to be about peace, love, and light, because it's ultimately what it's going to lead to if you do your work. But I don't like when people avoid the negativity of a spiritual awakening. A spiritual awakening is not pretty. It only gets pretty when you learn your lesson. The rest of the whole entire spiritual awakening is shit. I don't care what no one said. Oh, peace, love, harmony, light. No. No. Like, this is why I like to be real about my videos, because I'm going to break down to you that the spiritual journey sucks ass. I'm just saying. I'm going to be honest with you. It sucks. It really does suck. I love the sweater. I keep looking at it. I know you guys keep probably seeing me looking down. I just love the way the sweater is. Like, the way that the light is, it's cool. You can tell it's the moon, and then there's some stars, and it's really awesome. I got it in a couple days ago. I'm not here to promote clothes. Anyways, moving on. Yeah, so anybody who makes videos that's like that is just fake. Light, spiritual, love. There's some people on here that do talk like that, and they be making some good content, some real content, you know? That's just how they are. Me, I'm not like that. I'm very straightforward. I'm very real. I can't be like, oh, peace, love, light. I can say those things, but I won't be acting all weird and stuff like that. Like, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Or get some likes, some shares, some comments, you know. Don't forget to subscribe, and have a wonderful day, night, evening, afternoon. Make sure you eat, okay? Make sure you eat. I have to go eat. I haven't eaten at all. And have a blessed day. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.